Hello, boys and girls. How's everybody doing today? We are on Chapter 7, Lesson 8, Record Subtraction with Renaming. Record subtraction. Record, write it down. Subtraction, you know what that means. Renaming. Now, renaming is kind of like regrouping. We're going to rename. You know what re means? We talked about this before. It means again. So we're going to name again some fractions and some whole numbers. Okay? So let's get started. Number 6, 8 and 1/6 minus 3 and 5/6. Now you know from all the great work you've been doing with fractions that if we have the same denominator, we can just jump in and subtract the numerator. 1 piece minus 5 pieces. 1 piece minus 5 pieces. Now hang on a second. 1 minus 5. Can you take 5 away from 1? No. That's when the renaming is going to come in, okay? We are going to regroup. We're going to take away from that whole number 8. Okay? We're going to take one whole thing away from that 8, so then we're left with 7. Okay? So we're not going to write that as just a 1. We're going to write it as a fraction because over here we're working with a fraction, aren't we? We can't subtract 1 minus 5, so we want to get some more pieces. How many pieces do you get from one whole thing? You get 6 out of 6 pieces. So we took the one whole thing from 8, made it 7, and then we brought it over here and rewrote that 1 as a fraction 6/6. Now why did I choose 6/6? Well, because look at the denominator we're dealing with. It's 6ths. Right? It's just logical. Why would I choose a different one? We couldn't have added them together very easily, right? So 6/6 is the one. Now remember, we already had 1 piece plus the 6 more. 1 plus 6 is 7/6. Okay? So now we have 7/6 minus 5/6. That's reasonable, right? 2/6. Okay, and then we have 7 minus 3, our whole numbers. 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 and 2/6 is the final answer to that one. Okay? Now you know what? I'm going to rewrite number 10 over here because it's so smushy. Okay, I'm just going to rewrite it so it's easier to work with. 9 and 3/12 minus 4 and 7/12. Okay, so here we go. Same denominator, 12. So we have 3 minus 7. 3 pieces minus 7 pieces. I have to take away 7 pieces and I only have 3. I need more pieces. Goodbye, 9. I'm taking one whole thing, so that 9 now is only 8. And what am I doing with that one whole thing? I'm going to rename it. Rename it over here. What's the same as one whole thing? You know what I'm going to write, right? We're dealing with 12ths, so it's 12/12. Well, I'm going to use that little line I made as a plus sign. So we had 3 pieces. We regrouped that one whole thing, put it over here as 12/12. So how many pieces do we have now? We had 3 plus 12 more, 15/12. Now don't worry that that's a fraction greater than 1. We knew we had to do something to make it so we could subtract. So this is a fraction greater than 1, but our goal was make a fraction that we could subtract 7 from. So now we have that. We have 15 pieces minus 7 pieces. So what is that? Let's see. 8, right? 8/12. And now we go to the whole number. 8 minus 4 is 4. So 9 3/12 minus 4 7/12 is 4 8/12. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. You're doing great, guys. You know so much about fractions. All right, here are a couple more. 9 1/3 minus 2/3. Now, are you noticing there's no whole number there? Well, that's okay. Just keep on going, right? Just keep going. You can take a fraction away from a mixed number. So I'm going to rewrite up here. 9 1/3 minus just plain old 2/3. We can still do this. We can work with this. Okay, so denominator is the same. It's 3, right? I'm struggling with my, okay, here we go. Denominator is 3. So we can just subtract 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2. How can I take 2 away from 1? Regroup. Goodbye, 9. We are taking 1 from you, so now you are only 8. Now, how do we show that whole over here? How are we going to show that whole thing over here? Well, we're going to, of course, work with thirds. So if I have 3 out of 3, I have one whole thing. All right, so I already had 1 piece. Now I have 3 more pieces. 4 thirds. Okay, this is renaming when you subtract. You're doing awesome. So 4 minus 2 is 2. Denominator is still 3. We didn't change the size of the pieces, right? And then we go over to the whole numbers. 8 minus nothing is 8. Okay, so 9 1/3 minus 2/3 is 8 2/3. Awesome, awesome. Now, let's look at number 16, okay? Number 16. Oh, look at number 16. There's no fraction up there. I'm going to rewrite this over here. So it's just whole number 7 minus 1 3/5. Okay, so notice how everything is lined up here. We have the whole numbers lined up and that one fraction lined up with the other no fraction. Okay, so 7 minus 1 3/5. Okay, are you thinking? Do not just bring that 3/5 down, okay? Because it's just like if you had a 0 in whole numbers. Let me write a little mini one over here. What if I had 70 minus 13? Could I just go, oh yeah, I could just bring the 3 down? No. 0 minus 3? You have to regroup, right? We're not using whole numbers though. So the same goes over here. We have 0 pieces out of 5 to subtract from. So we don't have any pieces to take 3 away from. So ring-a-ding-ding, regroup. Goodbye, 7. We are taking 1 and leaving you 6 whole things, but we're just actually moving it over here to fraction land. So if I had 0/5 and I'm moving 1 whole thing over, I'm going to add on to that 0, 5/5. Why did I choose 5/5? That's our denominator, right? 5 pieces make the whole. So 0 plus 5, obviously, is 5/5. So 5/5 minus 3/5, 2/5. And 6 minus 1 is 5. So 7 minus 1 3/5 is 5 2/5. Okay, so we did a couple of kind of unusual ones on this slide. We did one, number 12, that didn't have a whole number, no big deal. And then number 16 didn't have a fraction there in the top number. So don't forget, I actually just write in 0 so I don't forget to regroup. Okay, you guys are awesome. Here we go. Here's one from the bottom of the page, problem solving. It says Alicia or Alicia. I don't know how she says her name. I'll say Alicia. All right, you're reading along with me though, all right, guys? Alicia buys a 5-pound bag of rocks for a fish tank. She uses 1 1/8 pounds for a small fish bowl. How much is left? So she starts with a 5-pound bag, and out of that she uses 1 1/8 pounds for a small fish bowl. So how much is left? Start with 5, take away 1 1/8, right? You guys got this. Start with 5, take away 1 1/8. How much is left? Dun, 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 dun. Are you thinking now? There's nothing up there, right? So there are 0 out of 8 pieces there to subtract 1 from. So what do? We've got to regroup. Goodbye, 5. You are now only 4 pieces, and we are bringing that piece over to fraction land. So we have 8 eighths. And of course, 0 plus 8 is 8 eighths. Okay, so then 8 minus that 1 piece is 7 eighths. And don't forget the whole numbers, right? 4 minus 1 is 3. So Alicia has 3 7/8 left. Okay? Well, I should say pounds. Pounds of rocks. Okay? 3 7/8 left. So that was another example of having no fraction up there. So we wrote the 0 in just to be sure we remember to regroup. All right, we are jumping. Oh, I think I said that last slide was at the bottom, but it was really on the back. Sorry about that. I mean, it was on the bottom of the first page, not on the back. You guys know. All right, number 3, and this is the review. So we're on chapter 4, lesson 8. Okay. Paulo has 128 glass beads to use to decorate picture frames. Okay, so here's where we are now. Keep reading with me. He wants to use the same number of beads on each frame. If he decorates 8 picture frames, how many beads will he put on each frame? All right, I got to jump back and I have to reread this. Paulo has 128 glass beads to decorate frames. Okay. He wants to use the same number of beads, an equal number of beads on each frame. So if he decorates 8 frames, okay, so he has, how many beads will he put on each frame? So he has, I'm putting my arms out big. He has 128 beads, and he is putting an equal number on each frame, on each of 8 frames. So beads on the first frame, beads on the second frame, beads on the third frame, equal parts. What are we thinking? Which operation are we thinking, boys and girls? I'm thinking if you have 128 and you want to separate them onto 8 frames equally, division. Okay, D for division, D for does. Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? Okay. You can use that. You don't have to use it. It's just the thing in case you forget the order. Okay? So 8 cannot be divided into 1. We can't give 8 people each one set of 100. So sorry, you don't get anything there. So 8 into 12 sets of 10. Oh, absolutely. We can give each person 110, can't we? Okay, so that was our D for divide. Now we multiply. 1 times 8 is 8. Subtract. 12 minus 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is 4. B for bring down. Let's bring down our ones. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do C for check. 4 is less than 8. Check. Okay, B for bring down. So now we pop back up to D for divide. We're going to divide 8 into 48 ones. 8 into 48 ones. Let's see. Oh, I think I know that. Let's see. I know 8 times 5 is 40. So 8 times 6, that's another set of 8. Aha. 8 times 6 is 48. So there's my division. 6 times 8 is 48. Multiply. Subtract. Check. 0 is less than 8. Bring down. Nothing. We're done. Right? Ring-a-ding-ding. How many beads will he put on each frame, boys and girls? 16. Okay? Awesome. A little division on our fraction homework is excellent. All right, guys. Awesome work. Keep working hard. You can do all of these things.